Welcome, welcome. How are you today? You chose the correct session. You came to the right session. We are going to have a great time today. If you have not gone on to the Hoover app, you want to go to the Hoover app, you want to see some of the information, we have a resource there for you, any one of our pages, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And I want to start off, first of all, by just saying how this weekend has been so full for me already. This is my first year at Haitian Ladies Weekend. Nous encadrons, nous recevons bien, and I appreciate it. And I realized one thing as I was here. I have to tell you a story before we begin, and I think you'll understand this. I have 3 boys, and when my son was 4 years old, I went to go pick him up from school, and in his class was a little girl named Esther. And Esther, as soon as she saw me at the door, she looked up at me, she waved, she looked at my son Balin, and then got up immediately, went over to the backpacks, grabbed Balin's backpack, grabbed his lunchbox, and then brought it over to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and said to him, "It's time to go, your mom is here." Then turned around at me and waved. In that moment, I realized, Esther has the making to be a wonderful Haitian woman. C'est pas ça? And what do you think I did the next moment as a Haitian mother? Balin ou Esther? My Esther pour comme zami. I share this story with you because I'm reminded of our Haitian women mantra. Yo met tayeno, yo met koule racine nou. Le la prian tombe, na remonte. Femme o nou sewozo nou ye. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. Même ble ati attention sou bagay. Pa gen nou si pa gen ou. You are part of this as well. Et l'homme suive bien, comme maman, comme madame, comme médecin. The reality is because nous se poto mitan famille nou et communauté nou. Because nous apprenons mare ceinture nou. Because we always show up no matter what, we get the job done and it always takes place. Many of us are bending, but inside, nous prêtes pour casser. And we can't let that happen. I want to welcome you to our bodies, ourselves discussion with my friends Liliane and Mélodie. We are going to have a great discussion. My name is Dr. Sabine Elisée. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician, and I practice and focus on physical, spiritual, and emotional health and well-being. If you could put up the first slide there that we have for you. I am honored here to be with these beautiful women and to be with you as we go into our deep discussion and just have a discussion. Because there's one thing that we've been charged to do here. We must protect this light and this power that's already ignited inside of you. In other words, we must protect you. I have Mélodie here to my left, and I'm honored to introduce her. She is a psychologist passionate about helping children, and she focuses on family harmony and preventing child abuse. After working in Florida with children in foster care, she returned to Haiti following the earthquake and specialized in psychotraumatology, systematic therapy, and transactional analysis. Mélodie is here to my left. Mélodie, please tell us a little bit more about yourself and all the roles that you play as a beautiful Haitian woman.
Thank you, Sabine. Hi, everybody. So my name is Mélodie Benjamin. First thing I'll say is I'm a Haitian woman and proud to be. I live in Haiti. Happy to be there. I am a daughter a sister. I am a wife. I am a mother of 2 beautiful boys, 13 and 8, that keep calling me all the time, but I love that. I am, like Sabine was saying, I am a psychologist. I am a peace agent. And I work mostly with kids and adolescents. But the thing that passionates me the most these days is a program that I am doing with my mother and other friends called Simelan Mou Récolter la Paix. And this is what really ignites me, because I work in the communities with young people from Cité Soleil, La Saline, and Badelma. And I was so happy to hear the conversations this morning, to see that I am not alone in that beautiful work that we're doing in Haiti. In that program, we train young people from these places to go and spread the light, because we have so much talent. We have so much light in Haiti, like Pascal was saying, and we are going to spread it around to rebuild our country. So again, I am Timoun Haiti, and it is in my fiber, and this is one of the things that I am most proud of.
Thank you so much. So we have a slide up here that I want to put up. If we could have the tech team put up our first slide here, that tells us that our position here right now is to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to give you the tools in how to protect yourself and preserve your resilience through wellness. This is what's most important. And we also have with us here our second panelist. Let's go to our first slide. Is that? I don't think that's the first slide. If we should go back. All right, we're getting, here we go. Our bodies, ourselves, nous sommes. Okay, so let's see si gen haïtien nan zon nan tout bon. Team. Ay, quick. Ay, this is it. Gen yon parole grand moun ki di, kote gen grand moun. What? Kote gen grand moun, kay pa bule. Nou pa jam tande sa?
Kay pa boule.
Oh! Nou pa haïtien.
Kay pa boule.
Kay pa bule.
Boule.
Boule, yes. Liliane Louis is our next panelist that is a joy for me to introduce. She is a Haitian folk artist specializing in storytelling, cooking, and holistic medicine. She holds a master's degree in human resources and development. Liliane is the author of 5 books, including When Night Falls, Click Crack. She loves sharing her knowledge on medicinal leaves and traditional remedies with the rest of the world. Liliane, we have the honor with you today, and we all get a chance to shita en babouche grand moun.
Merci.
Please, tell us a little bit about yourself. When we speak about this idea of nous sewozo, that symbolizes our strength, our adaptability as Haitian women, just like reeds that bend in the wind but never break.
Tell you about myself. Here is myself. I'm an open book. I will tell you everything. I cannot tell you everything now, but after I finish, you come in the hallway, and I will tell you what to do to cure everything. Your diabetic, your cancer, how to present it. But anyway, I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. That's how it started. And I'm a good cook. And if you want to know how I know how to cook and how I became a storyteller, it's because I was looking for love. Believe me, no, that's not a joke. I was looking for love in my own family. I wasn't loved. enough at least. But when I started to cook, first, I am a product of Elie Dubois from Haiti. And I learned to cook. I was very young, 12 years old. I was cooking with the cook, the maid. And they started to love me because when I went to Elie Dubois, I could make good Haitian patties. They loved the patties. They loved the papatat. And my younger sisters, because we are a large family, you see, 8 children in the family, I was the middle child. You know what happened to the middle child, don't you? Okay. My niece here is a doctor with her friend. And I was telling her mother and another younger sister after her mother, and two younger brothers, I taught them how to tell stories. I was the one who entertained them. And they love, every night they come to me for a quick. So I think they inspired me to write that book. They have all the Haitian folk tales in it. And at the end, I have cooking in it. All the typical Haitian cooking. You know, I even have upside-down pineapple cake because Haitians love upside-down pineapple cake. You don't go to a wedding not to find one. It's not really Haitian, it's mostly French, but I think that was part of our fabric or culture because the Haitians love that cake.
Liliane, you said something that I want to ask Mélodie about because I think that this is something that we don't talk about a lot.
Love.
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 How many of us are looking and searching for that love because we never received it in our family?
No, not everybody don't receive it. Some receive it. When you have 8 children in a family,
it's a lot.
Yeah, so, and then you're a middle child, you have no place, nothing for you. You have to find that place yourself.
How many of you feel like that middle child? Maybe not in your career, but when it comes to certain aspects of your life, that you didn't feel that love. I'm sure Mélodie could let us know a lot more as a psychologist and what you have done specifically in pioneering and protecting child abuse, how much we see that in our culture. And many times, it just gets passed down generation after generation. And many times, it's not that our parents or the ones who are responsible for us don't want it to give it to us. They may not know how to. Tell us, Mélodie.
Okay, so there's many questions into your question. And I am very happy that Liliane touched on the most important thing, which is love, and how she so beautifully said how, you find it for yourself. Love may come in different ways. The way that it comes to me might not be the way that it comes to you. But I think that each and every one of us have to be confident in the fact that it's there, and we're going to find it if we haven't found it yet. In our society, beating children is the norm, and one thing that parents say to justify it is that it's cultural. I say it's a bad habit, and bad habits can be cured. So it's extremely important because I'm here with women, adults, and maybe many of you have been through child beating. And one thing is that a lot of us, ça c'est une bénédiction que moi t'ai gagné. My mom is a psychologist, and she always says that. Okay, so I'm capable de dire, it's not private. Il toujours partagé que my dad, who was beaten as a child himself, le li levé she was like, ça là quand moi ça pas privé. You're not going to do that. And he understood and he stopped. So we as kids were never beaten. And, but a lot of us as adults, we tend to say, well, si yo pat kalim, I wouldn't have been the person that I am now.
Who agrees with that? I see someone pointing their hand like this. Yes, Mélodie.
Yeah. What I reply to them is that, imagine si yo pat kalo, peut-être que t'as plus loin passer ça aujourd'hui. Because it's wrong, period. And there are so many other ways. And as a child who received that kind of treatment, there's a message going through. It's either I'm not loved, or they want to break me, or, I cannot stay here, I have to flee. But it's always a negative message. So it's not the topic of today, but since you asked the question, this is one of the things that me and my mom, we've been working on a lot in Haiti. And with the Si L'amour project, we have so many beautiful stories where in Cité Soleil, for example, we have one of the men, because we work with men and women. He calls himself, and the community calls him Papa Pabat. Mm-hmm. And whenever they see him in the community, they know that they have to step back because he's not going to accept that parents beat on their children. We have people going, we have one lady, she goes every Sunday to a different church. Every Sunday she walks in different churches and teaches parents how to not beat on their kids and what is the effect that it will lead on. We're coming back to that love. I don't know if you've heard of, I forgot his name, but he's a psychologist, physician, I think, in the States. Hawkins. His name is David Hawkins, I think. And he actually measures levels of energy, and where he shows that love is the highest, at least one of the highest, one of the purest of the energies. And this is why it's so important to not justify it, to not put it aside, to not faire comme si c'est pas rien, because as our person, ourselves, and as a community, we are sharing that energy, which impacts ourselves in particular, which impacts our family, which impacts our community here in the United States, but which also impacts our country in Haiti. So this is one of the messages that I want to bring to you here, because I saw the question, but that we're not there yet, how you here can impact us in Haiti by taking care of yourselves, by loving yourself. It's extremely important. I don't know if I answered your question.
And one of the reasons why we have to point to that, this discussion of loving, is because the way you take care of yourself stems from how you are seen, how you are treated, and how you grew up. Many of us don't know how to do that correctly because we never learned how to do that correctly. As a matter of fact, when we went and we did this Hoover poll, we asked this very clear question. And we said, when we face moments of resilience, where resilience feels possible, when we face these moments when resilience feels possible, when life storms feel overwhelming, do you have the tendency to keep pushing through? And 97% of you said yes. So this makes me think about this question of self-care that a lot of times we say too commonly, but we don't really know how to define what self-care is. But we have to know and understand self-care is not so much about our hair getting done and our nails being done and punuka coquette. But self-care is being present right now in the moment because you love yourself enough to be there. When we speak of this Liliane, this love that we must first know from children, how we received it, how that impacts us, how did that impact you in your life moving forward for you to remain resilient?
Well, from being a very pessimist person when I was young. Even my teenage years, when I learned cooking, was making them more, I was being more acceptable. But my life has changed because I was able to buy something that money cannot buy.
What was that?
I bought love. L'amour ne s'achète que par... L'amour ne s'achète que par l'amour. If you want to be loved, you have to love yourself. You have to show people love. And that's why I became a folk artist. Because a folk artist is what you do every day. You cook, right? Every day you have to eat. Cook and share what you have. You share your cooking. And then people need to be cured. Not even cure. People need to prevent. That's what a folk artist, a folk medicine person does. A holistic medicine. The doctor cure. This is the doctor. That's your responsibility.
That's a big responsibility you gave me.
Yeah, that's your responsibility. But me, I make your job easy for you because I prevent them from being sick. I prevent them from going to the emergency room every night because I show them what to do. And then, guys, let me tell you, I've been in this country 60 years. Do I have to tell you how old I am?
Yes. Yes.
In 5 more months, I will be 88 years old. March 13, that's in tomorrow, 13, 5 more months, Liliane, the storyteller, will be 88 years old. 88. Okay? So, how do I survive? I went through so much. I control my diabetic, so you must wait for me and tell you how to do it. I have picture to show to you. Control, well control. Who knows if the doctor will remove it? But at least I can manage it. And then I overcome cancer of my lung.
Yes.
But I went to the doctor too for that. I didn't remove half of my lung. The doctor did. But I made her job easy because I know which leaves to use with chemotherapy so I wouldn't suffer. Okay? I was able to eat while I was on chemotherapy. Okay, I lost my hair, but now I have a lot of hair. Okay, I just cover it. I have it just like my niece here. Not quite, but okay. So, wait a minute. What was the question again?
You answered it. You answered it, so which was perfect. And again, our focus is nusewozo. It is this resilience. It is this bending, but we cannot break. And the only way we cannot break is that we have to be able to protect you from you. Did you hear what I said? Protect you from you. If 97% of you said in this poll that you keep pushing through, even when you feel life is overwhelming, how are you protecting you from you? This is one of the things that I want to make sure we focus on. Because Liliane, you make my job easier. But the thing that helps us really become easier is when each of you realize your health is not just a matter of absence of disease. It is the connection of your physical, your spiritual, and emotional health. All three of those come together. All three of those must be in alignment. All three of those must be fed. And it is only then that you truly are able to say, I am healthy, I am present right here, right now.
Vous connaissez, m'a dit un bagay.
Dimno.
Every woman here, everyone, and I'm thinking of my mother when I say that. I took care of her 20 years before she left us. Every woman here is a potomitan. Vous êtes des potomitans.
Absolutely.
Parce que, at my house, my father was a doctor. But who took care of us, 8 children? My mother. She knows what to do. You see that woman here, my niece? Her mother has typhoid fever, la fièvre typhoid. My mother took care of her. She's in her 80s now. My young brother has asthma. But that's another story, the way he was cured, you know. If I have time, I'll tell it later. But that's another story, another long story. But anyway, when you're at home, you're the one. But besides, in our culture, we have a song that tells us, c'est fake qui vous sauve. I have them to teach you later on, okay? The pharmacy, my garden is a pharmacy. And let me see if you are really Haitian, because this is something that is in our culture, in our fabric. Ma pour commencer, c'est pour nous tous répondre. Si nous pas répondre, nous pas besoin d'arrêter.
You're going to kick them out?
Yeah. Tu me gardes bien qui laisse qu'à répondre. Ma pour commencer. Listen bien, oui. Feuille nan misère moyen oh feuille moi courir kay gangan c'est Milo oh une belle fois là.
Did they pass? No one's getting kicked out.
Ah, me fait pas yo ça pas yo pas fait en Haïti, yo pas connait chanter. Mais yo c'est haïtien quand même.
I love it. Protecting ourselves, protecting your resilience is a combination of all of it. We cannot forget, yes, l'il mascritino.
Oh yeah.
We cannot forget this reality of when we pray. We cannot forget also this reality of nous besoin prendre acetaminophen fin là. Nous besoin prendre. One thing that I have found, and Mélodie, I want you to talk to us about this a little bit more. One thing I have found as a physician, particularly our women, we do a great job of taking care of everybody else. We do a great job of making sure everyone else has what they need, their medical appointments, their clothes, their food, that everything's prepared for them. And then whatever's left over, we give ourselves. Mélodie, tell us a little bit on how when we give away all of our energy, we give away all of our strength, what truly is left for us to make correct decisions for our own personal lives?
First of all, when we give all of ourselves, we get sick. So that's not even helping. And that it happened to me. I was like 100 mille à l'heure, until I got sick. And this is when I realized that I really have to take time for myself. And your question also brings me back to something that you said that I think is extremely important, and it has something to do with the question of making good decisions. Love can be a very easy word to say, but a very complicated one to understand. If I love myself, it means that I love myself for the good things about myself. It also means that I love myself for the, the less beautiful things, let's say it like that. And you also said that sometimes we have a hard time sitting with ourselves, because when we sit with ourselves, we have a tendency to only see all the mistakes that we made and all the things that we should have done that we didn't, or the things that we did that we shouldn't have done. And it's like that self-critic constantly. And so we one of the reasons why we are always also going nous pas jamais camper is to avoid to be in that moment. But I think it's so beautiful to be able to do that, because it gives you opportunity to look at yourself for who you are. I follow someone on Instagram. His name is Bashar. I don't know if you know him, but you know Bashar. And he said something that I thought was so beautiful. I am me and I am enough. And I think that this is one thing that we have to learn to tell ourselves. Because when I accept that I am me and I am enough, it means that I accept that I can be afraid sometimes, that I can be angry sometimes, that I can be sad sometimes. And when we talk about being wozo, nous plier, but nous pas casser, it also means that we will take time to be vulnerable. We don't have to be vulnerable in front of people. C'est pas ça bagay la di, right? It can be a moment where you cry in your shower. It can be a moment when you are within girlfriends and you exchange painful things. But it can also mean a moment where you call a therapist, because there's nothing wrong with that, and seek for help. And have the humility also to know that, yes, moi c'est une femme jam, moi c'est ozo, moi ka plier, moi pas casser, but sometimes I cannot do it alone. Sometimes I need to have that person that is next to me to build me up, pour jakem, pour me capable continuer lutte, but I don't want to use that word, yes. In that beautiful journey that I chose to go through in my way on earth. So we really have to be careful with that, to take that moment for us. And you also talked about how self-care is not about doing my hair and doing my nails, and yes, it is about that too. However, it's also about the yoga class that we took this morning and that we had to wake up early for, right? It means that I'm going to take care of my sleep. It means that I'm going to take care of my relationships, and that also is learned. But it really means that I'm going to take care of all these emotions that I hold in and that I accept, that I can have, and that I'm going to learn to release. I really don't know if I answered your question, but this is what I wanted to say.
You did, and I want you to keep saying what is on your heart, because this, again, is the discussion that we're having to make sure that we as Haitian women are protecting our resilience. We are protecting the power that's within us. And protecting that power within us, just as you said, it's with the women around us, it's the community that we have, it's in a weekend like this. But what about when they're not here? What about when you're by yourself? What about when you leave this room? Liliane, what have you done in your life that has helped you protect that resilience, particularly as being able to be a survivor of an aggressive lung cancer? I remember when we were speaking, you made mention of not just the medication, but the one thing that made sure that it wouldn't be the cancer that took you out.
It's the love. Love is a good medicine because I have children, I have grandkids. And when I had the cancer, I said, that cancer not going to kill me. And then I accept it with joy. I said, it's going to be an experience for me.
Liliane, you accepted the pain of cancer?
The chemotherapy, there was no pain. I started to cough. I went to church that Sunday. I couldn't see at church. I didn't know I had cancer. So I went in the baby's room and coughing. I got embarrassed. I said, with all those kids, I'm coughing like that. So I went out. I say in the back of the church where nobody was. And then the priest had come all the way down to give communion to the mothers. And I received communion that day. And I left the church right away. I drove back home. This time I wasn't living in my house. But I was living I bought another house up Florida. And I was babysitting for one of my children, my grandkids. And then I went back. The father wasn't there. When the father came, I was still coughing. I said, call the ambulance for me. Because he said, no, I'll take you. Because you're coughing so much, I'll take you. I stayed in the emergency room for 3 days. They were trying to see what I have. Finally, they admitted me. They said I was waiting for a bed too. Admitted me, and I think 2 days later, they had done enough tests, and the guy, doctor's assistant, a physician assistant came to say to me, I have bad news, I have good news. I said, don't give me any bad news, just give me the good news. I said, no. He said, I have to let you know you had cancer of your lung, but it's small cell. But it's kind of aggressive because you're very advanced at stage 4. I said, you should not give me any, I don't see which news is bad or good, but it's okay. My brother, my younger brother was there. He was surprised to see the way I accepted the cancer. If it was before, a long time ago, in my teens, he would have been devastated because I was very pessimist. Almost no resilience in me. I was very pessimist. Then I became so different, having children, being happy, feel love. So I became a different person. So when they told me that, okay, but so that passed, the way they told me. But now I went to a doctor. They gave me an appointment. He said, I'm going to cut you here and turn over there. When I went back home, I told my good friend, neighbors, and one of the guys who was working for the University of Miami, he said, oh, no, Liliane, you don't go to any doctor telling you they're going to cut you here. You're going to the University of Miami. I make the appointment. To make a long story short, the best Vietnamese doctor operated me. He didn't cut me. He just did a laser and removed half of my right lung. That's all. And then, but what was hard was the chemotherapy, to answer your question. I feel, and I have to take a pill. $52 for 3, my insurance wouldn't pay for them. I probably buy for maybe 3 times, maybe $150, $200 that I pay myself. And then after 1 hour, we finished to take it, and then I say, I'm not going to take it anymore. I stopped taking the pill, and I don't remember who told me sour soap and lemongrass. Just corosol feuille avec citronnelle. Okay? You drink it all day. Pain gone. I was able to finish my therapy. I follow my oncologist after that for 5 or 6 years. Never have any more trace, but I continue to take my sour soap for a long time and the citronnelle and the lemongrass. And here I am. And when I had it, I was 72. You see, so it's been many years since
What role did your mindset, your perspective play in making sure that you could conquer such a devastating illness?
I pray too. I got to say that. I don't know if you know Sister Claire. She was doing, you know Sister Claire? Yes. I have a sister who is a nun in New York. She told Sister Claire that I was suffering a lot to call me to pray for me. Sister Claire called me and first he said to me, all your children going to be disciples of the Lord. That was in the Bible. He said, that's the message I received for you. So that was very encouraging to hear that. 3 boys, 50, 47, 48. So you see, I'm gone. So I was very happy to hear that. And then she said, I saw the Virgin Mary put a cross on your front head. I didn't know what that meant. I even asked my sister nun. She didn't know what. Anyway, I am our subject in this panel to tell you, because I went to church a couple of years after that. The priest was going in the center of the church and, blessing people with the Holy Ghost. He left the center of the church. He put a cross on my forehead and he went back. He did only for me. And the sister has told me that, So I am okay. I know I'm going to live until I am 100 years old. Because, vieux grand monde toujours gen douleur. Ma dit nous ça pour nous faire pour nous pas gen douleur.
This is all the stuff that we want to learn.
It's right there in my pharmacy.
The pharmacy is here. Liliane, tell us what frère que vous gagnez avec aujourd'hui.
Oh, c'est l'ouvrir pour me l'ouvrir, on pas capable l'ouvrir pour me montrer non. Non seulement m'gè corosol, m'gè aloe, m'gè rosemary, m'gè toute qualité. Et puis m'gè ça qui est important pour nous connaître. M'gè verveine. Okay? Verveine, when I look on Google, verveine, my properties for verveine are different. Verveine, I use it not to have a stroke. If you have something that you don't feel happy about, you use verveine, you take a little tea of verveine to make sure that's not going to affect your emotion. Okay? And you become calm. I don't use corosol. Corosol make you sleep and things like that. And also, Dr. Mélodie, if you have a patient that has emotional problem, make sure at that house, the patient house, they have a soursop tree, a corosol tree. And then without letting the patient knows that, you make that patient sit. You put 2 chairs under the tree, and that patient miracle can happen with that patient. You see? So remember that. So that's what I say. You guys have to send them to me too sometimes.
Yes. Ladies, our culture.
And love. Let me tell you. I have my card here. After I finish, you take my card. Okay, when I go do a workshop at a school, a library, a festival, yes, I get paid for it. I get paid well. But when a patient comes to my house, it's free. It's love. People come to my house, they go out with a bag full of different leaves, depending on what they have, and they ask me how much. I said, no, this is from God. God gives us the tree, the leaves. And if I know about it, it's a gift for me, and I'm sharing that gift with you.
I want to take a moment here and change up our subject just a little bit in our approach. As a physician, I want you to understand and know the role of stress that it plays in your body. and truly the hormone of cortisol that is produced that affects every part of our body. Maybe you did not know this, but as women, we are born with all of the eggs that we will have that will go into the next generation. So that means, in other words, they call this epigenetics. That means, in other words, what you are doing right now is affecting possibly the children that you will have and the legacy that you will have to come. What you're eating, what you're thinking about, what you're paying attention to the most. How much nouvelle Haïti ou apprend qui mauvais nouvelle, and making sure you are not actively looking for what's good, what's pure, and what's right in the world. It is so important for all of us here to make sure that we are in those moments of stress, we recognize them quickly, but we have to know how to deal with it. This is the thing for me as a physician. It's not so much to increase the high blood pressure medication. It's not that I need to increase the diabetes medication. The role for me now is to really stop and say, wait a minute, what is truly going on here? And this comes back to our habits to a lot of times nurture what is bad and not go and look for what is good. Mélodie, what tools can you give our ladies today when it comes to stress and how they can face it the correct way?
The first thing I would say is to focus on your circle of influence. Since you were talking about Nouvelle Haïti, one of the things that stresses us is, stress is, what is stress? Is when you, as a person, perceive the situation as too much for you, when you feel that you don't have the resources to face that situation. And sometimes we put so many things on our plate that it's very easy to be stressed. So the first thing I would say is to focus on your circle of influence. There's a lot of things that we cannot do, and it's okay. There's a lot of things that we don't have responsibility for, and that's okay. When we focus on the things that we only can do, on the things that we really are responsible for, first thing that happens is that there are some stressors that go away. Now, even then, we can still feel stress. And there are many ways, and like I was maybe thinking and didn't say yet, we each have our own way to be able to release that stress and to deal with the stress. I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was doing my master's psychology, one of the professors gave the class a homework. They told me, you're going to go home, you're going to fill a bath of water and, soap. And I did the works. I lit up candles. I put some soft music. Mshita not low, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't see it. I felt even more stressed because, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for that feeling that I can't find. I still did the homework because it was a homework. But a couple of days later, I went for a run. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I was supposed to be feeling in the bathtub. All of this to tell you that my way of relieving stress might not be your way of relieving stress. And getting to know who you are is extremely important. It can come through reading, it can come through dancing, it can come through walking, it can come through going out with friends, it can be, it can be so many things, but the practice is personal. There's a practice that you will find that suits you, and that goes back again to self-love. Because I don't have to be what my neighbor is. I don't have to do what my sister's doing, but I can do what is right for me. And even if the other person doesn't understand what I'm doing, it's okay. Now, there are also a lot of techniques through breathing through meditation, through hypnosis. My mom is a professional YouTube hypnosis user. She finds hypnosis videos for anything. Votre li fait mal, li joue une hypnose pour votre faire mal. Tête li fait mal, li joue une hypnose pour tête faire mal. But it really works, guys. So this is one thing that is, I think, that is general for everybody. You know, when you connect with that energy that you need to heal whatever is going on within yourself, I think that works. So I encourage you to go to YouTube and look for different strategies. I encourage you to go back to things that make you happy. When you were younger, if you had a passion, if you had a calling for something, go and do it. Take some time. It doesn't, you can start small. It doesn't have to go from not doing anything to, leaving everything behind and going for that. No, just to add 5 minutes, you add 10 minutes. It can be once a week, but it's extremely important to recognize that, oh, I am stressed. How am I going to recognize that I don't sleep well, I'm irritable, moun pa ka ret bon kote mon corps parce que m'ap jappe derrière toute la journée, I'm not productive at work. These are all signs of, having a too much. And it's also a good sign to tell yourself, okay, I have to take a step back and I have to do something for myself and find, I know that in the States it's more difficult if you have kids, but it is so, so important to find the support and find a way, even if it's one day for the month that you take for yourself to do what fits best for your soul, and then you go do it.
And more than one day, even daily. Even daily, if it takes 10 minutes, if it takes 5 minutes, those things that we do every single day that is just for you. So the question really is, Mélodie, how is Mélodie taking care of Mélodie? How is Liliane taking care of Liliane? How is Sabine taking care of Sabine? And I want to point out your attention. I didn't say Dr. Sabine, because at the end of the day, it's Sabine. How is Sabine taking care of Sabine? As a physician, and especially in South Florida, in South Florida, one of the things that breaks my heart the most is really seeing now the number of women that come into the office and yo pense yo en enfance because the stress has caused such brain fog. We can't control the stress, but we can control what we do with it and how we deal with it. And what I've come to realize, in true honesty, we don't even know how to take care of ourselves anymore because we've spent so much time taking care of everyone else. So Liliane, how do you take care of yourself?
I eat the right thing to start with. You see, it's very important. And then I don't put, although I'm diabetic, but I like to eat a little sweet. And especially my grandkids, one of them came, Grandma, make douce for me. Douce, oui. I don't remember when I did douce for him the first time, but he remembered to make douce for him. They're studying in Switzerland, two of them. And then in Switzerland, I showed him the douce I made. I said, they're waiting for you. And he came, and I gragé, pas gragé, kounya, passé dans blender, 3 coconut, and then I put the milk and the sugar and everything, the cinnamon, the honey étoilé, and he made the douce. He spent 4 days because you have to keep on turning. He made the douce. So he loved them. And then I taught him how to make cookies, waffle cookies. I learned that from Élie Dubois, the Belge, waffle Belge cookies. And he knows, and the other day from Switzerland, Grandma, I don't have a waffle. I said, go get one. Or I send you one, but I remember the electricity is different. So I said, go buy one. He went and bought one, and he was doing it, and he came, he's his first year, the other one is 3rd year, and he said, Grandma, I don't have the barbecue warm to put in it. I said, put vodka. Grandma, I'm not 21 yet. I cannot buy it. Send somebody to buy it for you. And he made it. He made the cookies, waffle cookies. They all learn. Also, they learn from grandma how to make a rosary too. They have to learn all those things for grandma. Grandma has to be a central figure in their life.
One of the women in the poll said to us that there's a necessity right now in their young age to make sure that they are able to, in order to be this nusewozo as a Haitian woman, then the price of that is just compromising our own well-being. How do you make sure that that did not happen to you?
But I do my own well-being. I do what I want. I have 3 grown men, Sometimes they try to control me, but I stay in control. I do what I want to do.
We do what we want to do in the moment of when we need to do it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm in control, guys. And I will be in control when I'm 80. I'm 80. I'll be in control when I'm 100. I don't know after that. So always stay in control. That's the advice I gave to you. And don't forget, l'amour ne s'achète que par l'amour. Give a lot of love. So you will be loved. And then when you say, I am in control, they will respect that.
One of the things that I have found as a physician as well is when we ask the question finally of just take care of yourself, love yourself, hold yourself, make space to be yourself, we don't know how. So I want to help you try to learn how to do that. We asked our panelists a question, and if you could put up the slide for me.
Well,
I don't see the slide yet.
what happened?
I believe it's slide 3 or slide 4.
I tell you, right? I am 13 minutes after 5, after 3. I think it's 3:15.
Which slide?
It's 3:15.
Yes, we're looking for the slide.
The fly.
For the PowerPoint.
Okay.
One of the things that I want you to remember in protecting your resilience through wellness, through wholeness, I don't want you to think about who you are right now. I want you to think about the little girl. Before hurt came in, before pain came in, before you knew what was deception, before you knew what was kerkrasé, I want you to imagine that person and give that person what they need. Once our slide comes up, we had Chloe, who, when we asked her this question, she said what that person needed was to be in her grandmother's house, eating rice avec beurre. She said when she thought of this question, to really give Chloe what Chloe needed was in that moment to make sure she hears the sounds of a pilon, café, épice. Why? It brings her back to her childhood. It makes her heart happy. It makes her feel at peace. Melody, when you think about melody, what does melody need?
I think that what Melody needs, she kind of has, fortunately. I'm very blessed to be able to say that. I need home. And home is where I grew up, not only in Haiti, but the house where I grew up. And again, I'm very blessed that my parents had a piece of land that was big enough that I could build my house next to them. So I never left home. To me, that's my safe space. That's where I receive so much love. That's where I continue to receive so much love, because we live in a compound, dans la cour, with my parents, my older brother, my cousins, my aunt and uncle, and my kids, their kids. We are all together. To me, that's love.
And this is where you go when life gets tough for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
What individual practice do you do for yourself when it feels like the inside of you is shaking?
Oh, I box. Yeah. Yes. But when things really are rough, this is for me, again, this is one of the best things to do, is to go boxing, because I released everything. But also, for a couple of years back, maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 years, I started having better habits. And I think this is how it started for me, where I started to eat differently. I don't eat bread. I don't have no dairies. I used to have a glass of milk every day when I was younger. Now I can live without it, like I don't have a problem. So I eat a lot better. That was my entry towards self-care. I exercise. I dance. I have fun. I am a child at heart. Moi, je jouais la go freeze avec Timounio. Nous jouons la guerre ballon de l'eau. Nous courir dans la cour. We really have fun with the boys, because they're all boys and one girl. Yeah, so I eat well. I exercise, and my exercise of choice is boxing. And I take time for myself too. I also found spirituality. I was born Catholic, but I don't practice. However, I understand the importance of being connected to Mother Earth as much as being connected to God. So I research a lot online about, connections and spirituality and grounding. Moi, marcher pied à terre. So I learn a lot of practices to find center, and that really helps.
Liliane, I want you to take us to the time when it was most stressful for you.
Wow.
I want you to think about that for a moment. Do you have it in your head?
I don't have to think about it.
Pick up your mic for me.
Oh, yeah, I don't have to think about it.
Tell me what you did in that time to get you through it for you.
The time I was stressful, it was so many. So
choose one that was the most.
But the most stressful things for me. Well, there were so many. I would say maybe when I was going to school and there was an exam, that could have been stressful for me. But I was very stressful. I'm going to school with my sister, the nun, and then I did a little thing, and I know she's going to report it to my mother, and it will be big trouble for me. So those things were stressful at 7, 8, 9 years old. You understand? So many stressful, but coping mechanism. I had an imagination where I was telling myself stories. Mm-hmm. And the happiest time of my life as a child, because I have a very challenging childhood, so the happiest time was when my mother was telling everybody stories. It wasn't me she was telling stories. It was everybody, so I heard the stories, and they stay in me. They stay in me. I take the stories. That's why I felt that storytelling is a very important art to give, to share, because something stay with the people, I think. You see? So I think storytelling is a gift also for me. But I give credit to my mother in that book, that she was the one who tells us stories, and she would tell stories to teach us something. Somebody did something that was wrong, and then she will tell a story to to make you understand, you not to repeat it, you see. And she was a good storyteller. She could, if she was making the goat, you would think there is a goat. So that's it. It's not very significant. Like I said, yeah. I was able to overcome misery. Right. If you can call something misery. You lost in the crowd of 8 children.
Yes. Whether it's storytelling, whether it's boxing, we challenge each of you to find what it is that you need in that moment of when life becomes too much for you. We carry hats as mothers, as wives, as nenens.
Yeah.
We are squeezed in the middle as we look at an oncoming generation and pay attention to our parents' generation. And maybe you're not sure on what that looks like or how in an everyday instance, in a moment, to take that time to take care of you. And I want to challenge you to do this. I want you to find a picture of yourself when you were younger, when you were at your happiest. A picture of yourself when you were younger and when life was not complicated. When you look at that picture, I want you to answer the question of what does she need right now to make her feel more anchored? For me, I need a plate of tom-tom. These are my people from the South.
Yeah.
I need a plate of tom-tom qui fait avec l'âme, qui gagne l'âme véritable, qui gagne morceau crabe qui casse la dent.
Oh, oui.
I need that plate of tom-tom because it takes me back when I smell it, when I sit and I eat it. It takes me back to the time at my father's and my mother's table when my dad came from Haiti and he introduced tom-tom to us. And li mette nou tous les quatre là. Et sœur moi, Tanya, who he would always say, Tanya, mange bailan. She refused. He would say, égaré. I sat with that tom-tom. I was interested in it. I took that tom-tom et puis m'vale li. M'pakrazel non m'vale. Et même côté, papa m'longe $2, li di Sabine, bon travail. Do you see what we just did? Mm-hmm. We took a moment to say what we needed for our hearts to calm us. Mm-hmm. For me, that moment of calming for me is a chant d'espérance. Right. Where I hold the chant d'espérance there in my hands and I remember the fingers of my grandmother who were frail and gray as she passed through the words and she said, Sabine te met fête aux États-Unis, mais wap besoin créole. Chantez-li. Songez bon Dieu. Songez prière. You must find what you need in those moments where you feel like you are bending and you feel like you're breaking. But I want to submit to you today, you don't have to break because you must protect yourself. You don't have to be resilient. I say that because if you look to the lady to your left, if you look to the lady to your right, moun sa krowela, c'est pas un wash nan dlo, li wash nan soleil avel. She knows why you boarded that plane and you feel this burden, this overwhelming sense to be here today, to be here for this weekend. She knows exactly the tears that you cry at night over Haiti chérie. She knows and understands the desire that you have to have a prosperous nation and un pays, Haiti chérie, that you can go back to whenever you need to. The way we protect our resilience is knowing that you have a woman who's sitting next to you today, whose shoulder you could cry on, who understands what you're going through, who will give you everything that you need right here to get back out there and fight the fight that we need to fight pour lever pays nous. How are you protecting your resilience? Nous sewozo. Nous sewozo. Yo met tayeno. Yo met pileno. Yo met coule racine. Mais la pluie en tombait. Now we're montés. Do you know these ladies next to you are your rain? The woman next to you is the rain. Natalie, Tanya, thank you for being my rain to water me, to make sure nous were montés. You must find this in your life, this community, whether it's here at Haitian Ladies Network. You must find in those moments where you feel like you're breaking, whether you need boxing or you need love or you need a plate of tom-tom and a chant d'espérance to rebuild you, to strengthen you so that you can get up and do the work that you are called to do, because no one else can do the work that you have been assigned to do. It is only you who can do it. And if I cannot lose you, Haiti cannot lose you, we cannot lose you. But if we continue to remain in only this thought process of nous sewozo, we are resilient, and we continue to sacrifice ourselves and become martyrs, mesdames, we won't make it. These women that you see next to you today, c'est la pluie, non? La pluie en tombe, nous va remonter. What does it say? Liliane, chante pour nous, no? I hear you. Go ahead. Nous sewozo?
Nous sewozo. Commence-t-il pour moi? Nous sewozo.
Femme, yo, nous sewozo. Nous sewozo. Sewozo nous ye. Yo met taille nous, yo met couleur racine nous.
Chantez-nous, mesdames.
De la pluie enlevée, na remonté femme yo. Femme yo, nous sewozo. Nous sewozo. Sewozo nous ye. But we must protect it. As we begin to close here, Mélodie, any words that you want to share with our sisters?
I love how you're having me end the session, because you spoke about how we need to be there for Haiti, and how sometimes your heart aches because you want to go back home. And I know that for most of you here, the diaspora, it can be very difficult because you are away, you are afraid, you are angry, you are sad, and you feel hopeless, and you don't feel that you can do anything. However, by taking care of yourself, by being happy, and please don't feel guilty, be happy. Sometimes I hear of people in the States saying, but how can I be happy when, so many things are happening back home? But by your happiness, you're helping things evolve back home. Take care of yourselves. Find, you are there, and accept that you are where you are, and, profiter de ça que nous gagnons, and be in the moment and do what you have to do. Build yourself, build your families, live a beautiful life, and come together. Have peace within yourselves, have peace in your families, and come together. I have heard that the diaspora is not united. I don't really fully understand what it is because I am not here. However, be united, but mostly be happy. Be happy, be grateful for what you have, be vulnerable when you have to. It's okay. And then, nous remonter, and then you are happy again. Because you wouldn't, maybe some of you understand, but maybe the extent of, for example, a weekend like this one, where so many women come together with the same energy, with the same power, with the same love, with happiness, with sharing. It's all of that energy is going back home. Because the love is there. You know that. I know that. Même si vous quittez Haïti, vous pas jamais quitter Haïti. So whatever you're going through, you're sending it back home. So if you're angry, if you're sad all the time, if you feel guilty, if you feel desperate, that's not helping us. So what I want you to know, what I want to say to you is, be happy, live in the moment, be where you are now, and it's okay. And that will help you come together and to bring back to the country. I'm going to encourage you to follow our platforms, my platform, TSOUF platform, because I am also vice president of TSOUF. I didn't say that in the beginning. Fondation IDEO platform, and support us in our project, Si Mélanmou Récolter la Paix. Go on the TSOUF website to know more about it. And like I was saying, when you focus on your circle of influence, that's where you are happy. Do what you can do, and whatever you can do is okay.
We give you permission today. We give you permission to take care of you. We give you permission to protect yourself so that your resilience can stay strong and so that you can do and complete your God-given ordained call and difference that you will make, not just in Haiti, but dans le monde entier. We love you, and thank you for joining our session.
Okay, one more thing. Let them know that I'll be outside, and
Liliane is here outside.
Certain diseases like asthma.
She wants to talk to you about asthma,
Cancer.
cancer, to look at her tutfeuille,
Yeah. L'autre encore with
diabetes as well.
Yeah, and many other things. So if they have a problem, they want to share with me, and I'll be more than happy to open my pharmacy for them.
And check your Hoover app, because then you will see all of the references there. We have a guide for you there as well, too. If you go under my name, you'll see the guide there. I believe it's the second link that you can put practical things into place even now. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, ladies.